All right, it's showtime, ladies and gentlemen.
It's showtime.
And welcome everyone to this week's community call, this magnificent, very prestigious event. Let's give the rest of the people some more time to join. Oh, we have 300 pull-ups today, according to Pizza J, the mastermind behind the pull-up, so it shouldn't be a problem, actually.
More than enough. That should really be more than enough.
Yeah, it really should be. To get started, the usual housekeeping item. This call is being recorded. You may notice in the audience are two very kind and nice and generous recording bots called Georg and Craig, right? So if you don't get to make it, or if you can't listen to it all the way, then don't worry, because at some point it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel on a specific community calls dedicated playlist. And welcome everyone. And the other housekeeping item is that during the call, if you have any questions, suggestions, or you just have a funny meme or something that you came across, there's a community call dedicated text channel. So we're going to be leaving links to everything that we're talking about there. And also, if you have any questions or you want to tell us something, then you can also leave those things there. And I think without further ado, let's start with introducing who I have here with me today. So first of all, I have Ismail, my usual partner in crime and resident disappointer here on these community calls. How is it going, Ismail?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. I love disappointing everyone every single week, and I'll continue to do so. Thank you.
We definitely noticed that. All of us did. So in the name of the NIM team, I can thank you for that. And I also have with me Benny, as most of you know from the announcement post. Benny is with the NIM QA team. It's awesome to have you on, Benny. How's it going?
All good, all good. I can't wait for next time when we actually have elevator music.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that for a few months at this point, so I don't think it's happening. But yeah, hope dies last, as they say. All right, so I think it's time to get started with our news roundup. So Ismail, what do you have for us?
Yes. So last week, a new blog update was released about the NIM Mixnet contract upgrade. The migration was successful, and the Mixnet now runs on a new smart contract version. Later during the call, we'll be talking about this a little bit more with Benny.
Exactly. So other than just introducing Benny, also part of the reason for this call is to give you some more details on the Mixnet contract that just rolled out. We also talked about it last week. It's been coming for quite some time, and it's awesome to finally have it actually migrated. All right. So the next news item is new versions dropped of basically everything that we have. So to go along with the new smart contract, we also released new versions of the NIM wallet and NIM Connect and the NIM platform binaries as well. And what's important to note here is that you gotta update to the new versions to be able to use any of these tools and software for with the new smart contract. So make sure to do that. And also, on a side note, we released version 1.1.1 of the NIM wallet as well just today with some minor bug fixes, but that's not that important. So once again, to highlight, with the new version of the smart contract, you actually need to use the new versions of these tools to be able to actually make use of them. And on to the next news item. We dropped a YouTube video recently titled "The Financial Position of NIM." This is with Andrei Sergentov, who's probably familiar to those of you who have been around for quite some time, because he's been a guest before on one of these community calls. Now, so a bear market is tough on crypto projects in more ways than one. So funding generally dries up across the industry, and as you guys probably know, funds are required to keep building. So if you don't have money, you can't really keep the lights on and can't pay your developers and can't build stuff. So when Andre joined NIM as CFO a few months back, one of his first and most important mandates was to actually outline the budget and financial plan for NIM for the coming years. And he did that, so that's completed now. And he made sure that even assuming the worst case scenarios and using the most conservative and pessimistic estimates, NIM can keep building for many, many years to come. So rest assured, if you were worried for us, you don't have to be. NIM is very much good for a few years. So if you want to find out more about this, then check out the short video that we posted a link to on the dedicated community call text channel. And also, another link will be posted too to to the community call, the recording of the community call, where we talked about bear markets in a bit more details, among many other things. Andre's background, by the way, he used to be a banker, so he's from BP Paribas. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a French bank, but anyways, he used to work there before NIM. He spent about 15 years there. Um, and then decided to move over to Web3 and the crypto market. So it's a pretty interesting conversation about why he did that, why a lot of other professionals are also doing that from the banking sector. And interestingly, Andre also has a PhD in privacy research. So before he started working for the banking sector. He got a PhD in privacy research. So that was also part of our conversation. So I recommend listening to that episode. And I think on to you, Ismail.
Yes, correct. So in Turkey, there was an event in Istanbul, and NIM COO Alexi Roussel joined the stage at the event itself. The event is called Istanbul Blockchain Week. It looked like a lot of fun. Some team members shared a lot of pictures, and also some things have been tweeted about it. So it's too bad I wasn't able to join myself, but it looked like it was great fun. So Alexi Roussel and Marina, they both met some awesome Turkish community members as well. And yeah, obviously the NIM team has good connections within the Turkish community space regarding NIM and crypto. So they also try to hang out with those people whenever they can. So if there's ever an event in Turkey and NIM people are there, just make sure to say hi and hit us up. Next, yeah, 2 hours ago actually, NIM frontend developer Jana Matrosova, if I pronounced that right, she presented a talk at an Internet Without Borders conference in France, in Paris actually. So as usual, we'll be sharing the recording as soon as there is one. So we hope to be able to upload it as soon as possible for all of you. On to you, Simon.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna bounce it right back to you because you know what I haven't given a shout out to in quite some time. Our Reddit. Let's quickly mention our Reddit. It's your realms, so I'm gonna hand over to you. What's up with
Oh
our Reddit?
yeah, that's right, that's right. Okay, so as you may or may not know, I've been managing the Reddit quite a bit. We started with about, I don't know, it was maybe 10, 20, 30 community members on Reddit, and then it grew a bit, and then since Shipyard we have about, I'd say, 355 community members on Reddit, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in this space, this is actually quite nice growth, starting with nothing. So yeah, and I really want to thank everyone for joining. And obviously, I keep sharing news links and everything there, and some people have been commenting on things. So it's really good to see, and it's just another avenue for NIM to spread the word about privacy enhancing features of NIM itself and to inform more people about the project. So I'll be sharing the link to our Reddit right now in the chat, because it would be great if you're a Reddit user that you'll actually join our Reddit and participate. If you don't necessarily like Telegram or Discord, for example, I mean you're on Discord right now, but if you want to participate with NIM on other avenues, then Reddit could be just another avenue for you to do so. I'll share the link right now.
Do we
Yes.
still have that gold that you purchased earlier?
No. Yeah, so that's a
No
fun
more gold?
that's a fun story. So I don't have gold. I may need to buy some new Reddit coins in the future. So actually, in order to kickstart the amount of increased activity for a week or two, I gave people free Reddit gold. And basically, what it means is that if you receive Reddit Gold, I think that you'll get a week of free access, free Reddit browsing. I think so. I noticed immediately that many people jumped onto that promotion, and so yeah, I may start doing it again. So if you're eager for some Reddit free browsing, please just join our community, and I may do something fun for you soon.
Folks, you heard it here first. Actually, Ismail does not always disappoint, which was a shocking surprise to everybody. I know. With our Reddit presence, he's been doing pretty well. So if you wanna write something long form that doesn't get lost in the chats of Discord or Telegram, then be sure to drop there. And also all the stuff that we post across all our socials are always shared on the Reddit as well. All right. Well, I think that was it for our news roundup. So let's move on to the next segment, which everybody has been waiting for, including myself. So I would once again like to welcome Benny, a member of our QA team at NIM, to the call. So it's awesome to finally have you on because we've been planning this for quite some time at this point. I don't even know how many weeks, but the QA team has been ultra busy with Mixnet contract migration, right? And also the preparations for that. So, but more on that later. So first, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, it took you some bribing to get me here, huh? No,
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's. She's getting a
introducing
lot of Reddit
myself.
gold.
I'm not really gonna say much, but I'm Benny. I'm Italian, and I'm actually quite new at NIM. So I've been around, I think it's over 3 months now. Not that long, and yeah, not really sure how else to introduce myself without giving up too much information and privacy and all. So yeah,
You're already not anonymous here in this call because
I
you introduced
know.
yourself by name.
I know.
By the way, on the topic of
Oh my
name,
God.
you remember when you introduced yourself and you told me that I should just call you Benny because I could never pronounce your name properly otherwise?
Yes.
How do I pronounce your name otherwise? Like your full name?
You're asking me how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I mean you probably know. I hope you know.
Benedetta.
Oh yeah, I think I could pull that off, but I'm not gonna try because a lot of people are
Please
listening and I'm camera shy. All right, so you know what? Let's jump straight into the new contract because first of all, congrats on successfully pulling this off because I know that there was a lot of nail chewing involved because it was kind of a big deal across the dev team and the QA team of NIM. And also, guys, just for our audience, I also need to make a correction. Although I did make this correction, I removed the incorrect reference from everywhere I could. But initially, I shared the update as V2 of the contract, which is not actually the case. So that was a mistake. And the actual version is 1.1 of the contract. But I mean, although it comes with various improvements, and changes, not many major features are being added, so that's why it's not V2. But still, there is a reason why we call it V2, or like we did refer to it as V2 internally for the longest time. And the other internal code name for the new contract was Godzilla. So, can you talk a bit about what warrants the name Godzilla, why it was such a big deal?
Yeah, just to be straight, I'm probably not the best person to ask about this because I joined not not too long ago. But having said that, from my point of view, I think one of the biggest things that I would say warrants that name is the fact that we changed around 20,000 lines of code. And it was a destructive change. So in a sense of, we're essentially moving data across from one contract to another and nothing can go wrong. It's quite delicate. And yeah, my point in all of this was, as I said, new, but even from what I've done, it was just going back and forth as a QA team with the devs. It was just insane. So much going on, and I think we were
Was it very
all,
very stressful for you too?
yeah, we were,
Did you get a share of the stress?
yeah, I did. Not as much as a lot of the devs did, but definitely felt the stress as well, especially more in the past week, 2 weeks.
How did the migration go? Was it very, very stressful or just moderately stressful? Did everything go wrong or did only
No,
a few
no,
things
no,
go wrong?
no. It was stressful, but just the right amount.
Sounds nice.
It
It's
ended
better
up,
than I expected.
yeah, it ended up being fine.
So you
least
do have some fingernails left, right?
Just a couple.
at, at least you don't have to provide elevator music every week and then forget and then disappoint everyone because that stress is really getting to me.
Yeah, we can
We
definitely tell that it's getting to you, Ismail.
we can switch the stress if you want.
All right, so with all of that said, and the migration completed, what does the new contract bring us in practice? So what kind of improvements people will notice, and probably just as importantly, what improvements were made under the hood, which people may not necessarily notice?
So I think the biggest change in this migration is around efficiency, improving the whole rewarding ecosystem that we have, which I'm guessing, gets us closer to creating this mixed net for better privacy eventually. So I don't know, for example, previously we would query through data of each and every epoch, which is like every hour, to determine the correct rewarding value. And obviously this becomes expensive and time consuming, and you think about how this adds up when it comes to a contract size. Migrations improve this, so we don't have to actually go through each checkpoint on the chain for the data every time, because so if I remember correctly, the contract size before the migration was 2 gigabytes, and with testing now on the new contract size, we've like fast forwarded 5 years or so, and it was something like 11 megabytes. I think. Don't take my word on
Wow.
it. I have a memory of a goldfish, but something like that. Like, it's insane. It's so much better.
No, but that's
Transactions are a
even
lot.
just in terms of orders of magnitude, right? That's a huge improvement.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And yeah, what else? Transactions are faster. Compounding obviously is done automatically now. And also, if I don't know, I think the community must know about all of this, but if a mixed node's unbonded, it essentially doesn't really exist anymore because we've changed the data structure of how everything's saved. So a mix ID is associated to a mixed node every time it's bonded. So if it's unbonded, it's not associated to it anymore. So all the delegations will need to be undelegated. Operators can set operating costs. Yeah, that's all I can think of now. Getting stage fright.
So
But
no, that's fine.
it's all essentially
Don't be scared. Everybody's sleeping anyway, except for the other Simon, who's sending links about elevator music to
Oh,
these
nice.
calls. So don't worry at all. So just a bit more context for those of us for those of you guys who don't know, the whole unbonding thing. There's a flip side to it. So obviously, if you unbond from on the new version of the contract, if you unbond your mixed node, meaning you remove your self stake from your mixed node, that means that you basically removed it from the mixnet, which is permanent. So all of your delegations are also being undelegated, which is kind of a bad thing. But it used to be required to unbond and rebond for all sorts of actions, such as configuration changes and all sorts of other stuff. And you don't need to do that anymore. So actually, it's more of a simplification than like this big looming threat
Yeah.
of like accidentally unbonding or something and losing all your delegations. And then what about speed? So if, from my understanding, although I have limited understanding of this, the efficiency improvements, right, also resulted in an overall faster contract. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it is, exactly. Because we're not querying through each epoch of data every time. The way that we're doing it is too technical for me to talk about now because I'm gonna mess up. But yeah, it's different, and that results in it being a lot quicker.
All right. And then one more thing that probably people will be happy to hear about, although it's not that big of a deal when it comes to NIM because our gas fees on Nix were already really low. That's part of the reason why we have our own blockchain and didn't use an existing one. But correct me if I'm wrong, but also gas fees in general are reduced because of the reduced complexity of transactions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's also awesome. Now, maybe one more thing for those of you who don't know. So about like the whole auto compound thing. So it used to be that in the wallet, if you had delegations on a mixed node, then the rewards for that delegation were just gathering until you either redeemed those rewards or you compounded them, which means you added them to your delegation. But from now on, with the new version of the contract, this happens automatically. Now, this is a good thing. I'm super glad that I don't have to open the wallet and compound my rewards every day. But it also caused some confusions in the community. People are asking, where are my rewards? Since the upgrade, I'm not getting any rewards. You are getting those rewards. They are just being added automatically to your existing delegations. With what frequency? Do you know that, Benny? I'm not sure. Maybe once a day, or how does that work?
I believe it's in every epoch. Rewards.
All right. So once an hour then,
I think so.
right?
Don't take my word on this.
Yeah, it's not 100%. I also can't remember how often this happens. But to me, it looks like I just opened the wallet. It looks like I have more than 1 hour's worth of rewards. So maybe it's once a day. But anyways, so with some frequency, guys, your rewards are being added to your delegations. So if you have zero rewards, quote unquote, then don't worry because you just had all the rewards that you accumulated added to your existing delegations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what did I want to ask you? What else? Do I have a very difficult question for you? Let me look.
Nice. Can't wait.
All right. Oh yeah. So actually, even through the stage fright that you have currently sitting on this community call with me, you still sound pretty excited about all of that stuff. You know the contract and all of that.
Excited about
So
stage fright.
let's exactly excited about stage fright. That's also a good thing to be excited about. So let's talk a little bit about like more broadly NIM and privacy. So what brings you to the project? Was it just a job you stumbled upon, or is there something more to it?
No, I mean, yeah, it was one of the jobs I was, on LinkedIn. You get job offers all the time, but I was drawn to NIM when I read the word privacy. I am a very private person in so many different ways. And yeah, I think I'm finally excited now since this whole migration's finished that I'm going to start working on the privacy side of what we're building. The other day I was watching a YouTube video via SOX 5 proxy, and I was just mind blown. I know a lot of people in the company have done that before, but it was the first time, and I was just, this is really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
So then SOX 5 proxy via the mixnet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So for now, ladies and gentlemen, you only have the chance to use the mixnet for Telegram and the Electrum wallet and
Oh yeah,
Keybase
I was testing
because
it.
for
It's not live.
yeah. So it's a privileged position that Benny's in that she can just test stuff like that. Although I think someone fairly technical could probably pull it off as well, right? You just need to route your traffic through SOX
Yeah.
5, right?
Yeah.
Your browser traffic.
Yeah. I think
But
so.
eventually, as many of you may know from our roadmap update, you know our midterm strategy involves releasing a general purpose use case for the mixnet, which would include something like watching YouTube videos through the mixnet. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Although you're getting to do that way early.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones. I try and explain this to my mom sometimes about what I'm trying to do, and I feel like one of the analogies I use is having, like, you know how people have data plans, so you pay for your phone every month and you have a data plan and then you use the data. I feel like it's going to be something similar to that eventually. And
Probably.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's this whole side of NIM is what excites me, is why I'm in the company, I guess, why I love it here. And
I gave up on trying to explain things to my mom a long time ago. But then, do you have any specific tech that gets you excited, like NIM technology? Which one is
I
your
think
favorite?
it's not about NIM tech. For me, it's more like the whole concept of, so and like a VPN is something that, I don't know, 5 years ago I would think is, yeah, I'm using a VPN, I'm safe, I'm secure and whatnot. But you think about it, they still ask you details, whether it's just a payment card or your email, your phone number, how many frozen pizzas you buy. Like, they still take data from you. And it bothers me. It bothers me even when you think about a credit card company that might sell your data. So I get triggered by these little things, and so being in a part of a team testing, and hopefully soon in the future, we'll be able to navigate and do things via the mixnet. It's really satisfying for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
I've just shared a video in chat about VPNs. So even beyond the fact that it's pretty inferior technology when compared to NIM, and also it's so necessarily when you're using a VPN, unless you're using a decentralized VPN, you're trusting one party, right? It's
Exactly.
up to them whether they gather your data or not, whether they give law enforcement information about you or not. All of that stuff you need to trust someone with, right? While in the case of NIM, as a decentralized technology, you can read the white paper. You can look at the code. You can see it for yourself how it works, and it's trustlessness,
Yeah.
right? But even beyond that, VPNs in general are incredibly problematic. Like I recommend everybody watching the video that I just shared on the Community Call Text channel by Naomi
It's
Brockwell.
actually great.
It's
I love the approach she has on things. It's funny.
Yeah, I like her a lot as well. So she has a recent video about VPNs and how they steal your data, among other things. I highly recommend it. So definitely, it is super exciting to work on something that is not just privacy on paper and as a selling point um, to get customers, but privacy as an actual fundamental like fundamental technology.
It's a right.
It's
It's a
it
right.
gets me excited as well.
It's a fundamental right.
Well, it is that, but it's not going to be provided. Like we can't really rely on law giving us and granting us that right. It is a fundamental human right. Privacy is it's enshrined in the Declaration of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights for one, and also some EU human rights as well. But there's an incentive for people to spy on you. That's always been the case. That's the same age as humanity is, right? So it's even if the laws would be perfect, which is not. There are loopholes, and there very much exist legal ways to spy on people and to surveil people, and it's happening every day. But even if it didn't, and if those didn't exist, even then you can't just trust the law to provide you privacy. So it has to be. Sorry, go ahead. Me? Oh.
He may not be able to hear us anymore. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was wondering, is it me or is it you?
I was also wondering if it was me or you because my connection is not too good here.
Okay.
So I thought I lost connection. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I was just wondering whose connection was bad, if it was mine or yours. Good.
But before that,
I was just talking
you were saying
about
something.
VPN. No, you. I'm all good. I wasn't interrupting.
All right. So then, actually, on to the next question, which kind of stems from this one pretty well. What are your online like anonymity and privacy practices? Do you have a lot of those? Because from what I understand from our private convos, you're pretty you pay a lot of attention to your privacy online. So what kind of stuff? What are your top 3 tips when it comes to staying private and anonymous online?
Don't talk about our private convos in public. I'm kidding. I think top 3 tips to stay private online. It's difficult to give 3 because can I explain what goes on in my head? So I think being online goes on different layers. It's different levels, and the very first thing that I did online to keep private was to never use my real name, unless it was for work or school. I'd always use some kind of an alias. I would always try and use different aliases.
Pseudonym.
Exactly.
Are you telling me you're using a pseudonym?
You never know. Yeah, that was like one of the first things I did about 10 years ago when I was online. And then I started understanding more about data and realizing that, just changing your name is not good enough. And so the next step was going actively, spending time into turning off a lot of the settings. So for example, on my phone, I would have location turned off on everything, microphone turned off, access to my camera turned off, contacts, like WhatsApp doesn't have access to my contacts, all these chats, everything's turned off. And it's quite scary. The other day I was trying to talk my friend through turning all of his location data off as well. And on an iPhone, go in to the settings and you go really, really deep into the settings and they save locations to where you've been. So much depth, how often you go, how much time you spend. This is just an iPhone setting. It's not an app that makes money. I mean, obviously it does, but not like Instagram or Facebook. So yes, yeah, that's probably the second thing I've started doing, which is time consuming, but it's worth it. Also, I don't know if you do this as well. I also never try and use my email address, if it's where I'm going to create an account on. So I don't know if you're booking a table on some website restaurant and you're not creating an account, you just have to give an email address for confirmation. I'll always use one of those 10-minute delete email, whatnot, whatever they're called.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
those throwaway email things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I use them a lot as
Yeah,
well. I even use them for a lot of pickup orders. Like whenever I buy something and I need to pick it up in a
exactly.
store, I always use those things. Yeah,
And also,
it's
you
pretty
have
nice
phone
actually.
numbers like that as well, like VoIP phone numbers that are not actually connected to carriers. So yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I kind of do all of that.
You know the thing about all of these things. I, by the way, just linked to you guys, our audience, very long, the Hitchhiker's Guide to Online Anonymity, which is special thanks for Sven, the guest of the previous community call, who dropped me a link to this. It's it's I don't even know how many A4 sheets it would be if we printed it out. It's a really long guide to staying private and anonymous online. Just a quick note on what you said about the iPhone. Make no mistake, the iPhone, or its manufacturer Apple, is making mad bank with ads. It recently refocused its efforts to become to also become next to Google and Facebook, a big player in the surveillance advertisement
Mhm.
game. So this recent virtue signaling about how you can opt out of tracking. There was a lot of noise about that. How you can opt out on your iPhone from so you can make it so that your iPhone doesn't allow Facebook to track you or Google to track you. That is very true. But just recently it came out
The thing,
from some excellent from some excellent investigative
yeah.
journalism that actually it does block Facebook and Google from tracking you, but Apple products still very much track you on your iPhone. So basically, it was a power play by Apple to beat them at their surveillance game. So
I don't,
you
that
were
doesn't
you were
bother
about to
me
say something,
because I probably very
doesn't?
naively, I still think Apple is a hardware focused company. So a lot of their income is hardware. It's data, sure, as well, but it bothers me less knowing that Apple's tracking me rather than Google or Facebook.
Well, I mean, not to get sidetracked on this too much, but that's changing very
Yeah, I
rapidly.
know.
So Apple over the past 3 years has been heavily refocusing on services and also
Mhm.
ads. So they grew their ad business by like something like 500 or 400% over 2021 or
Yeah.
2022. I can't remember which one. So it very much is moving towards a model similar to Google and Facebook. And in line with that, they do virtue signal about how they protect your privacy and stop these big bad companies from tracking you, but
They
then they
are the
turn
big bad
around
company
and
that
basically
tracks
just lock
you.
those companies
Exactly.
out. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just more efficient with their more closed down system ecosystem at doing the same thing, which Google and Facebook are not as efficient at. So that's pretty crazy to me. And this brings to mind the thought that I often have. I am on these platforms. Like, I don't know about you, but I do have an Instagram account. I do have a Facebook account. I do have um, like a lot of these very, and also right now we're talking on Discord. Let's not forget that, right? It's part of my job to give these. Yeah, exactly. It's very much very ironic. So sometimes I do think that just following this guide that I got from Sven, it's really nice that I can stay private online if I follow that. But isn't it a bit depressing that you gotta jump through all these hoops, right? You have to read a very long guide and invest the effort in going after the tools and also make the necessary precautions to stay private online. So sometimes it's a bit too depressing for me,
I fully agree.
to do that. And also, given yeah, and my browser is often logged in with my Google account, right? I do store passwords in my
Oh
Chrome and
no.
whatnot. So it is a bit. I know. It's not good practice, but it's just so much time and effort to stay secure and truly private, right? And I would argue that even if you try, you can't really pull it off for real. It's just pseudo
I
privacy.
know what you mean, and I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Go as well. Go ahead.
yeah, and I just wanted to add, like every time you buy a new device, you basically have to repeat the process. Not totally, but a part of the process, which just creates more headaches. At least that's how I feel
I'm
about
gonna
it.
have to read this Hitchhiker's Guide. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very long
I'll,
web
I'll
page.
drop you I'll drop you a link to it in
Okay.
DM. But okay, so as one example, I don't know. So there's this absolute abomination of an opt out, quote unquote, you get from cookies, because of GDPR, which is like this 8 to 9 hour process for you to opt out from every cookie that they're trying to place on your computer one by one.
Yeah.
And when I visit a site, um, I save my cookie settings, right? I reject all. I go through and scroll down and reject both the cookie itself and the legitimate interest cookie and everything
Okay.
else, right? And then unless I accepted the previous time, the site comes back and makes me do that every single time I read an article on it. So
Yeah,
I
it's just such an uphill battle to do these
know
things,
it's
isn't it?
crazy, but it's also because there's first party cookies, third party cookies, hash cookies. But then you go deep into depth. Wow, English, Benny. To like fingerprinting. You have online fingerprinting, and something I was reading about recently actually is really it's terrifying. You have cross device tracking, which is bad itself, but companies can tell what devices are connected to the network that you're on. Um, and I guess obviously use that for data and marketing and whatnot as well. And that's actually something else I do. I turn my Wi-Fi off every time I leave the house. Not just like press the button, but actually go into settings and turn it off. And going back to cookies, it's it's they make it really difficult for you to be completely anonymous.
yeah, and also I've done a lot of SEO type work. I don't know if anyone here
Mm.
knows what it is. So basically, it's search engine optimization. I've done a lot of this working for a few different types of blogs and tech companies in the past. So what I've noticed is that the marketing departments of all of these big companies, they start getting better and better at getting you to actually click on a cookie. So click on accepting all the cookies. So not just what Sudo just said, that you have to keep repeating it every time you open a page for some websites, but also they change the language on the cookie message itself. So for example, they might state something like, "Hey, do you like cookies?" and then put an actual JPEG, an actual picture of actual real cookies, and then you just select yes, but but it's just some form of quick instant stimulation to get you to answer this
Yeah,
question, right? So that the menu doesn't stay there anymore. But by doing this, they just use psychological tricks to just actually get your data easier, right? So it's really unfair. And for people here, for us, we might see through these things, but many other people still don't know how this works exactly. So I also think it's really unfair and not really ethical for all of these giant companies to use all these psychological tricks on people, right, to
Definitely
get
not
their data.
ethical. And
So
sometimes it's happened to me that I try
yeah,
and reject all the cookies and I can't find the reject button. It just forces me to accept
y-
it.
yeah, exactly. It's
It's
really
so
frustrating.
annoying.
And also, yeah, and also many times, I can't name names obviously, but there's so many companies out there that they show you the message, and they explain, yeah, we collect cookies, blah blah blah, GDPR, etc. etc. Uh, and then you decline, but they still uh, grab your they still yeah, do the things they do. So there are many companies out there. Usually the
That's
smaller ones are just flat out
Yeah, yeah,
lying in
yeah,
your
yeah.
face if you decline.
Same
Yeah, it's
thing.
horrible.
Yeah, I think the cookies.
well, because in the current system.
I
Sorry,
was just
sorry,
saying
Benny,
that
go
the
ahead.
cookies that you were talking about before is that you can't really delete. I think they're called flash cookies, which kind of doesn't make sense because something flash should be whatnot. But I'm just reading it now. Um, sorry, I was curious. I wanted to know what they were called. Go on.
Right. So, Staker.net says, honestly, I don't think, I think it doesn't even need psychological tricks for the masses because the masses just don't care. My personal opinion. Yeah, that is very true. I think. So, it is true that the masses don't care. The masses don't care in general about a lot of different things. The example I like to make about this, and the reason why NIM is we don't, although we do of course aim to raise awareness of the issue of privacy and how important it is, and how much this fundamental right of ours is being violated and what we can do about it. But the vision of NIM wants to so the vision of NIM is not for everyone to understand the issue of privacy and go through the hitchhiker's guide to staying anonymous online or private online and then spend like an hour a day on it. But our vision is to make privacy the default, whether you know or not, of the issue or the problem or the solutions. You don't even need to know. So everybody should have privacy by default. So just like how I'm pretty sure if you ask, I made this example before, I think on a previous community call, but I'm pretty sure if you ask uh, 10 or let's say 100 regular people in any country what they know about leaded gasoline, like gasoline which has lead in it, they won't know that it's absolute poison for you, and it led to a double-digit drop in IQ scores in certain regions when it was before it was banned. But eventually, someone realized this, and an effort was made to ban it. And people don't need to know and understand how leaded gasoline works and how it poisons you and how bad it is for you and the environment. But you just enjoy the system working
But
in
the
your
thing
favor,
is,
right? It's
I
by default you're not
don't
getting
agree that
poisoned.
that's the same with privacy because a lot of people actually enjoy these like personalized ads. They enjoy the fact that being having this huge presence online as makes their life easier in a lot of ways. So it's not that someone will kind of click and understand, okay, we should be more private online because a lot of people actually like it.
I wouldn't. Okay, I think you're mixing two things up here. You're not wrong, but you're also not. I would say that you're not entirely right either, because people do like the simplicity, of storing your stuff in your
Yeah.
Google account, and my browser autofilling all the addresses that I've ever visited, and also knows which one I visit more often, and it's more likely to put that in front of me instead of another one, and all of that stuff, and I couldn't even list all the comfortable features that you get from being surveilled and having all this data about you. But I would argue that there's maybe like two people on the planet who actually enjoy targeted ads. I think nobody does. I think everybody hates ads. Like, show me one person who
Who
likes
likes
ads.
ads? No, but who prefer personalized
Yeah.
ads over normal ones? I know a few people.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like as soon as you have
We can
ads,
have this debate
as
another
soon
day.
as you have ads, which
I think people like content, not ads, and often the best type of ads in the marketing space, people usually say like the best type of ads are not ads, they're content, right? So oftentimes we're when you think you're watching content, you're actually watching an extended ad, right? So I think what Sudo said, like most people really don't like ads, and I agree with that. I can't speak for all the 8 billion people on this planet, obviously, but I think I agree with him. No, almost no one likes ads unless you're in marketing and need to
Yeah.
educate yourself on how to trick people better into buying your product, right? But but if it's content, if the ad is presented
Mhm.
as content and not as an ad, then well, yeah,
That's
that
true. That's true.
GG,
That's true.
good game. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So sorry, continue.
Uh,
sorry, where I was going with this, I just want to finish this point because I think a lot of the stuff that we enjoy as these comfortable comfortable byproducts of online surveillance, you know, such as the ones that we listed and also many more, could be achieved without the system attached, right? So the system exists to perpetuate surveillance capitalism, right? It's because it exists because you are a mine which is being or you are a resource which is being
mhm.
mined for behavioral surplus. So basically data is being extracted from you and a lot of other people, and then with machine learning a lot of dots are being connected from that data, a lot of conclusions are drawn, and then that is the product that is actually the gold rush of our age, right? Or that produces the gold rush that functions as gold in the gold rush of our age. So so I think even without the machinery of targeted ads, you know, and this sort of extraction process, you could have a lot of the same comfortable things without being, you know, without surveillance on top of it, right? So I think it's not necessarily connected. It's not like you either have both or you have neither.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. I
No.
don't know.
I have a community question for you
Hmm?
from George, our longtime friend. It's a question to Benny. Are you a privacy maximalist in the sense that privacy trumps all benefits, or do you say that some benefits outweigh the disadvantages of surveillance capitalism? For example, turning location services off on everything versus turning it on for selected apps like Google Maps.
Uh, Ideally, I would like to be a privacy maximalist, but I'm not. I have friends and family all over the world. I'm all over the place as well. I'm terrible at keeping in touch with people, so I feel like going back to the whole having Instagram topic. I have Instagram, use it. I do painfully use Google Maps as well, just because it's the best one out there that I know of. If you guys have another one, please um, let me know. But yeah, I'm trying to be more private, private, more privacy oriented in everything I do. It's just really, really difficult.
Yeah, and even if you try to, for example, delete your Instagram. Oh, sorry, I don't want
Oh,
to cut you off, but I tried to delete my Instagram a week ago, and I've deleted and my Facebook many times in the past. But they make it so difficult. Like they have many people with PhDs actually working on this to create this draconian,
mm,
unethical system of trying to retain their
yeah,
users. And I've been a victim of this so many
yeah,
times.
exactly.
uh, Yeah, so when you try to delete your Instagram, for example, the system is set up in a way that uh, they just make it very difficult. So like it takes you maybe 30 minutes to actually do it and find it out. You need to read a few frequently asked questions articles, and then the information there is very well crafted, so it doesn't really explain how to actually delete your account. In many cases, and so if you do manage to delete your account, then you probably will receive some type of email from Instagram or from Meta in this case, then like a week later, and then when you accidentally click a
Mm,
button on the in the email itself, then boom, suddenly you have your
yeah,
Instagram
yeah.
account again, and you have to go
They
through the
put you through
whole
this huge
process.
loop.
So Yeah,
Insane.
exactly. And so maybe normal people, so to speak, that's another discussion. What is normal, right? But I'd say most people or the masses, they just think that they're having a bad experience with the whole deletion thing. But in
It's
reality,
all being
it's not a
planned
bad
out and
experience.
like it's being crafted
It's
to be
yeah,
done.
it's all planned out. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, it's crazy.
Guys, wait a second. Wait a second. Didn't Facebook straight up said or say I'm not sure whether this is still the case, but I have vague memories from many years ago that they straight up said that you can't delete your account. Like it was not possible for you to delete your account. You could deactivate it, but your data was always stored there, I think. But
Well,
Oh,
that's
really?
Facebook.
it's possible to close your account, but again, yeah, they have your data, right? So you can close your account, so you won't have access to it, and people won't be able to find you anymore. But whenever you do want to create an account for some reason again, then yeah, they have stored all of
But
your data. So
can you not
technically,
request for it to
yeah,
be deleted?
yes, you can, yeah. But then, like,
There's the
I'm not
right
the
to be
Yeah, you
forgotten,
should
right?
have
I
that
think I
right.
think
exactly,
I think
yeah,
every company.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You
Oh
have
yeah,
the right
George
to be
just mentioning
forgotten.
it.
Yeah. Exactly, but then another problem again is like let's say you use a new product or new internet service somewhere or whatever, and you actually need a real Meta account or something, or you need Instagram to be able to see the content that you want to see. That then you're basically blocked, right? So it's this never-ending vicious cycle of trying to collect your data that and trying to paint a picture of who you are exactly. That really
Yeah.
frustrates me a lot.
Same.
Yeah.
For those of you in the for those of you in the audience, and also you guys, Ismail and Benny, if you're in Europe and you're under the jurisdiction of GDPR, then I highly recommend you getting your data through a GDPR request because companies are if you file a GDPR request with something like Facebook or even Tinder or Instagram or any of these platforms, they have to by law give you all the data that they have about you,
And
and that's
delete it.
that's a really like eye-opening experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
probably delete it as well. Although I'm not entirely sure how the right to be forgotten works. I know that there's some broker company um, which actually stands between you if you want if you pay for it, stands between you and a lot of these services, and then requests through lawyers to have your data removed. Like they are specialized on this. But I'm not sure whether you can just request it and whether that happens. But after a while, like after a certain period of time, I think your data like should be if you remove your account, your data should be removed as well. But I'm not don't
No,
quote
I
me on
won't
that
quote you,
either.
but I'll definitely look
But
into
still,
that.
just looking at that
I like the
data,
sound of it.
but just looking at the amount uh um and richness of data that some of these platforms have about you, I definitely recommend you guys filing a GDPR request to one of these companies and just taking a look, just looking around on all the stuff that some of these companies
I
are
did that
are
with
holding about
Google
you.
like a year or two ago. I have like a private server at home that now I back up all of my photos on, and so I removed them all from Google Photos. I requested, like, I went through the whole process of getting my data. It was just mind blowing how much data they have on me. I was just expecting them to send me my pictures, and it's like unbelievable. Yeah, no, I'll look into this GDPR stuff.
Aren't you worried? So the reason why I don't have, so I think one of the most difficult things to get rid of is cloud storage, actually, because even if you do have a server at home, I did burn myself with that once. By I can't remember what rate I had, but anyways, too many drives died in too
Mhm.
short a period of time, and I lost a ton of data that was like my entire music collection over 12 years or something. Um, and that is kind of inevitable when you have local storage. So even if you do have a server that should be backed up somewhere, or are you not worried about
I
losing
am.
your
I have
data?
it backed up, but that's it. I have one backup. To be fair, it
All right, you don't
depends
need
on
to
what I
give.
do. Like these are a lot of old pictures that I have that I just removed from Google because I'm trying to be Google free. Um, at the moment, I think I still use Apple Photos. After your comment today, I'm going to look into removing myself from Apple as well. I think I need to buy an iPhone and download. Have you heard of what's that operating system? The Graphene OS. Yeah, that
Graphene
one.
OS.
I'm gonna look into that.
I did. I even used it back in the
Is it good?
day. The thing is, okay, I'll be completely honest. I personally started giving less and less of an F about these things because precisely because it's all over the place. Surveillance is all over the place, and you can limit yourself in all sorts of ways. You can limit comfort, you can limit you can spend this time on all of these like hoops to jump through to remain private and to stay off this platform, to not use that platform. But at the end of the day, it's not really a solution to anything, right? The solution is systemic, right? These platforms I think should exist, you know, but should be both legally not allowed to do what they are currently doing, and also um, we should have technological solutions in place which prevent them from doing so, aka NIM and whatever else may come in the
Yeah.
future, right? So so for me personally, where I see the solution is not in trying to protect myself, because it's kind of I often feel like it's downright impossible to do so. I'm up against literally the biggest entities humanity ever produced. These companies are more powerful than any single country, right? In a lot of ways, and also have more know-how on this whole thing. They have been building this machinery for a really
No,
long
I
time.
know what you're
So
saying, and I kind of agree with it. But
it's just
I think of it. It's maybe a bit naive the way I think of this, but the way that you would say for climate change, recycle your water bottle, and people will be like, "How is me recycling my water bottle going to help the climate change and help save this turtle and this and that?" At the end of the day, it's every little thing, like every little action adds up and it makes a difference. And that's kind of how I see it with my personal privacy footprint kind of thing online. If I don't give my data and someone else doesn't, and like it kind of adds up, and these big corporations idealistically would not be as successful. Yeah, as I said, it might be me being a bit naive.
I agree to some degree, and it also sounds nice. I was kind of tempted to end the call on that note, but what I would add here is that it's a bit against. So that accepts that would accept a reality in which we are fighting against these companies trying to surveil us, and they're just doing the surveillance, and we as individuals are accepting that that's going to be the way of things, and we're just going to be fighting with all of these hoops and all of this energy that we pour into it. And the more people do it, the less data they have, but still the fight is on. They will be finding ways. They want to extract that resource. Like that resource is in you, it's in your behavior. They want to see that, they want access to that because it's
Yeah, but if you
value
don't
logged
let them
for
get
them,
access
right?
to it,
Yeah.
So they want to extract
that's
that
what I'm
value.
saying. Like, just don't give them as
Ouch.
easy
Yeah,
access,
but
which is,
but do
yeah.
but would you go as far as not having a smartphone? You know?
Oh, I've thought about it. I think about that a lot.
Is it really possible? Maybe today it is possible in a lot of countries, if not most of them, to live without a smartphone, but it's getting increasingly difficult. And I would say that the world is definitely not going in a direction which would allow you to
Definitely
live
not.
without a smartphone in 10
No way.
years. I mean, not yeah. So you would just actually isolate yourself from society, right? If you truly wanna just opt out of the system. So I would much rather change the system than accept as it is.
Oh
Accept
yeah,
it as it is today.
I
That
agree.
that's
I
just my
agree with
my
that.
personal philosophy on
In the
this.
meantime,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we like to expand on what you're saying, Suda. We've really come to a point where you not using certain technology even impacts the people around you, right? So let's say you're a person somewhere and you're trying to get a job, and you really you really don't want to have own a smartphone, but then like you say, you kind of self isolate by not using the smartphone. So if your team members are not even able to communicate with you, or you don't have access on the go to some type of cloud services, then that you may run into issues performing your job activities, and not only you, also your
Yeah.
colleagues, for example. And there's many more of these types of examples I can give. So like emergency
Participation and
things and
like
participation. Yeah,
participation in just regular civil life, like taking care of government business.
yeah,
A lot of that stuff happens. So I'm primarily based in Amsterdam, and in Amsterdam, a lot of that, or in the Netherlands, a lot of that stuff happens primarily on the computer. Like you probably can still do it over forms, but I would assume that there are some things that you can't do over forms anymore. So like written, printed materials, and it's just yeah, it's just that's the way we're going, very
But
obviously, right?
yeah,
I'm not against technology. I think technology is amazing. It's the surveillance side that is the problem. And that's what NIM's for.
Very true. Exactly.
exactly. Yeah,
Although there is also so NIM, as much as it is a huge part, like a gaping hole in the system that we're filling with actual GPA level surveillance resistance. It is still just a part of the picture, right? Because if I am logged in, so if let's say we have released that general purpose VPN, that is mixed net based. So my data, my connection is encrypted and end to end, and my metadata is also obfuscated. But if I'm logged in the browser with my Google account, and I do everything on it, you see how that's already um like not full privacy, and my privacy, like I compromise my privacy through that, like towards Google, only towards Google. It's a more controlled thing, but still my privacy is compromised. So yeah, there's definitely going to be like a bigger like stack of tech that is gonna end up solving this
Yeah.
this problem for good. But NIM is a very important piece of it, and a
And
foundational
I
piece of it.
can't wait to be able to just freely be on my laptop, fully protected by the mixnet. It feels so good.
Agreed. Yeah, same here. I can't wait. I actually can't wait for our a general purpose use case to come out. And the other thing that I'm really looking forward to, although it will probably happen in some time. So the general purpose use case will be much earlier. But when I can actually authenticate myself with ZK-NIM, formerly known
Mm.
as Coconut Credentials based ways. So without
Yeah, I
using
actually started
OAuth, which
testing
is
that.
Facebook's
It's
and
insane. The coconut,
testing what?
whole concept of coconut. I've started
Oh, you
looking
did?
into it. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. Can you talk about it
Nope.
a little bit?
Not yet.
Or is it too early?
Not because I can,
Okay.
but because I don't understand it well enough yet. But yeah, next time,
It's a pretty complex system.
sure.
Just a quick summary for the audience. Actually, the what Coconut Credentials, now known as ZK-NIM, is. It's a selective disclosure anonymous credential technology, basically, which is also decentralized. And it is going to be released this year, I believe, right? If I remember correctly from our roadmap. Don't quote me on this because
I
I don't
think
have it
so.
in front of me.
Very soon.
Yeah, I think this year. So it's very close, but to the point where I can, next to the login with Google, login with Facebook on all the sites where you can do that, actually uh, um, just giving away your privacy, to a very significant degree. When I will have an option there, to log in with, I don't know, a service called XY that is based on Coconut Credentials. That's the world I want to live in. So that's when I think we've actually achieved something that
Mm.
is end to end enough to actually be able to stay private online without having to jump through all the hoops. So that's when I think people will be actually able to preserve their privacy by default, even if they don't necessarily understand what the problem is or care that much. You can even set it up for your grandma, with her probably very limited
Yeah.
technological understanding, right? So that's
Yeah.
the world I'm
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
forward
Same.
to.
Not so much who you are, but rather, am I allowed to do something? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Without having to disclose your personal
Exactly.
identifying details. Anyways, here's to hoping that that's going to happen sooner rather than later.
Yes,
Do you want to end on that note?
positive note.
All right. So unless the community has any additional questions to Benny or myself or Ismail or anybody else, I think I'm gonna let you guys go. It was super awesome to talk to you, Benny. So muchas
Nada.
gracias for coming on. It was a great combo. And also, I would like to thank everybody who made it community call live today. It means the world to me. And we're gonna be back with another community call, of course, next week, same time, same bat channel. So you can already put it on your calendar. I'm not sure yet who I'm gonna bring on for you next week, but rest assured, it's gonna be another cool person, just like Benny is. And as usual, the call was recorded, so it is going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel on the community calls playlist. So if you want to listen to it, or if you only caught the end of it and you're curious about the beginning, then make sure to check it out there. Huge thanks for coming on. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. And I'm handing over to Ismail so that he can give you the details on how to claim your POAP, which will be a very, very easy process.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
lovely weekend, everybody.